Good day, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Fayette Focus. Harry Wright with you. Today, my guest from the Miami Trace School System, we have the athletic director, Aaron Hammond. How are you?
I'm good, Harry. How are you?
I'm doing great. First year of the Frontier Athletic Conference. So far?
So far, it's going great. The 6 schools is competing against each other. It's been very competitive, had a good football season, and basketball season is heating up.
I want to talk about football season a little bit, about the league, because 3 teams made the playoffs out of our league. Out of our league of 6 teams, half the teams made the playoffs.
And I think when you have half of your league making the playoffs, it says how tough and how competitive your league really is.
That's one of those holy cow moments. I mean, really, when you think about it, how many leagues in the state of Ohio can say that half of their teams, even 16 teams like ours, half of their teams made the football playoffs? That shows you what a great league you got put together.
Yeah, we have a good foundation to build on, and I think it's only going to get better as we move forward.
Now, I know you told me the Nick's A on the expansion A thing, so we kind of won't mention that, but with 6 teams, there is room.
There is room. We're always looking to expand. Ideally, an 8-team conference is ideal, but right now we're 6, and we've put out feelers and kind of waiting on some responses, but expansion will always be on our minds, but we are very content with 6 schools, and we're building a very strong relationship among those 6 right now.
Now, when a league thinks about expansion, and I know this is way too early to talk about this, but we're going to talk about it anyway. When a league thinks about expansion, how important is location of the school district?
Well, look, I think location is very important. I think the first thing that you want to look at is in terms of what type of communities the schools you're targeting are based in. Are they similar to you? Across the board, and then I think you have to factor in location. You don't want your kids traveling 2.5 hours to play a conference game on a Tuesday night, and you don't want to put your middle school kids on a bus on a Thursday night to travel that distance. So location is always going to play a role. There's some very attractive schools in Ohio, Southern Ohio in particular, that may have our interest, but they just lay outside our zone that we're comfortable transporting our kids to.
All right, well, let's switch gears a little bit because football season's over. Our basketball season's well underway and everything's going good. But right now we're at the turn of the year, and how do we see the rest of the year progressing?
So far, our basketball teams have had very solid starts. Our boys basketball team is on a 3-game winning streak. We have a big game with Circleville on Friday, and then we got rivalry day with Courthouse all day on Saturday the 23rd, and then our girls program coming off last year's state Final Four berth, they've just kind of carried on. They've got a huge game tonight with Hathaway Brown, who we actually played in the state semifinals, but Hathaway's coming down and playing us, and then the girls are going to go into their holiday season. Thursday they actually are at Ross Southeastern, who has a very talented player. So we have lots of games on tap over the break. It's a break from school, but it's not a break from athletics.
There you go. That's right, because that basketball season, that's usually around this time when we have tournaments and things, and it usually heats up.
Absolutely. We host the varsity round of the McDonald's Holiday basketball tournament, and then our girls go to Jamestown to play in the varsity, and London and Plains are also hosting JV levels of those tournaments. And we've been involved in the McDonald's Holiday tournament for many, many years. And those 4 schools have been involved for the last several, and it's about building relationships again with those 4 schools. 2 former league members. Jamestown's right up the road from us, so we hope to see large crowds over the holidays.
Now you've got the new school's going to open up here next year, maybe the year following, whenever the construction gets done. How are the athletic facilities going on in those aspects?
The new school is coming along great. In terms of the facilities within the new school, our gym is progressing. We hope this is our last year in the pit for our winter sports season. We're doing several promotions, recognizing, I believe, 13 teams who have played in the pit and had varying degrees of success, bringing them back to be introduced one last time in the pit. And then we hope to make our transition next season, having our first games in our new gymnasium. And then exciting news on our football stadium. This spring we will be installing turf and building a new concessions, restroom, and ticket building. So lots of renovations and new things going on at our schools.
It's a sad ending to the pit because I'll just tell you, I'm old. And I remember high school games in the pit.
Well, I played in the pit in high school. Came up and played in it, and it's a gymnasium that's got lots of character. It's got lots of space, and there's not really a bad seat in the house. But as with all things, change must happen, and we're looking forward to getting in our new gym, 1,800 seats. We believe it's going to have some character, and it's going to be something that we can be proud of.
Are we going to name it?
Right now, we'll just kind of let that happen as it happens, but we're not going in with it named. It could be called the Pit. Who knows what our student body will help in that decision, and but right now it's unnamed.
We can name it the Pit 2.0.
We could, and that may work out. And the kids in our technology, they may like that. But right now, it's unnamed. If we're looking for sponsors, if a sponsor wants to purchase the naming rights for the Pit or the new gym, then they'll have the right to name that. So we did sell naming rights to our football field and our auditorium in the new building.
Well, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that because it's not that I was surprised because sponsorship is everything nowadays, but it's not normal, though. It's not the norm for a high school to have their field named or sponsored.
It's probably not normal in this area. If you travel to some of the more urban areas, it's very common for fields to be named after businesses, and we wanted to generate some funds, and that was one way that we thought we could generate some funds to improve our facilities, and we were very fortunate with Tony Pinwell doing the football field, and then Quality Design doing our Performing Arts Center.
And I thought it was genius thinking outside the box. I mean, you need to generate some funds to help with this, that, and the other. Well, yeah, that's a great way. I mean, the NFL learned that a long time ago, Heinz Field.
Yeah, I think anything you can do to bring in more revenue to help give you more funds to provide things for your student athletes, I think the better off you are.
I think you are too. And what a great way of not going about getting those funds in the traditional high school or school district manner, saying, hey, voters, but thinking, hey, let's do this. We don't have to bother the voters and we can still get things done. Great idea.
That was our plan going in. We wanted to get some outside revenue so that we didn't have to use general revenue dollars to fund these things.
So how beat up was the basketball team? Was there any cross players from football coming over to basketball that had to heal a little bit?
We had a couple coming over to our boys basketball team, but not as many as maybe at some schools. So there wasn't a lot of beat up bodies coming in, so they were fresh and able to get their season started.
Now, have you ever before, this year, during the Black and Blue, both games, the latter one in February that Buckeye Country 105.5 is going to be broadcasting from, but having a girls game, having the girls and the boys play all at the same time, have you ever done that before?
We have not done that, and to be perfectly honest, our locker room facilities and our gymnasium not necessarily set up for that, so we have some challenges, but we felt it was a neat way to kind of approach the rivalry day. We want to make sure that both our boys and girls programs can be highlighted rather than just playing the girls in maybe the early afternoon and then coming back for the boys in the evening. This way, we're going to have both varsity teams playing back to back, and we hope to have a large crowd in the Pit on the 23rd. And we are inviting back all our former varsity basketball players who've ever played in the Pit to have the opportunity to be on the floor one last time at halftimes of the respective games and be introduced. So hopefully, we have many come out for that as well.
Well, I know we're excited at Buckeye Country because we've never broadcast a girls game and a boys game the same day before between the same two schools. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And what a great tailgating opportunity because you're going to have all the Miami Trace girls fans, all the Miami Trace boys fans, all the Courthouse girls fans, all the Courthouse from freshmen all the way up to varsity. You're going to have everybody there.
Yes, unfortunately, Courthouse doesn't have a freshman team, so Blanchester's coming in to fill that spot. But yeah, we have boys and girls. One ticket price gets you in for the entire day. $5. You can start watching basketball at 1:15 and be done about 9:15 at night.
That's right. That's about 6 games worth of basketball right there.
It'd be 5 games. You're getting 5 games for $5.
That's a Buckeye game. You can't beat that. Now, what's the first game out there at your place?
1:15, our freshman boys will be taking on Blanchester. That's followed at approximately 3 with our JV girls taking on Courthouse. Then you have your JV boys game at about 4:30 with Washington. Varsity girls tipping off in the 6 o'clock area. And then we get the varsity boys tipping off about 7:30.
All right, folks, that's a fun day. If you're into black and blue, and who isn't, that's a fun day right there, all out at Miami Trace High School. Anything else you'd like to tell our listeners?
I'd just like to thank you for having me and say go Panthers.
We always enjoy having you on the program. It's the Panther Express. You're either on it or you're in the way. That's the way we look at things around here. That's right. I want to thank Aaron Hammond for joining me today on the program and telling us all about what's going on athletically out at Miami Trace. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Harry. Appreciate it.